Indy 500 winner Gilles de Ferran has returned to McLaren as a consultant to assist with the squad's restructure, underlining Woking's determination to again fight for wins and titles. De Ferran was McLaren's sporting director from 2018 to 2020, during the immediate aftermath of its Honda nightmare, but has returned to Woking to add horsepower from a leadership point of view. We want to have enough capacity at the leadership level to look into all the opportunities that you have, said team boss Andrea Stella. Miami was a second straight sold-out event, but the race's promoters are now considering whether to transform it into a night race for extra sparkle. F1 will get its first ever American night race later this year in Las Vegas, but Miami is keen to not be left in its illuminated wake. There's a lot of factors that go into that, with F1 and television and everything else. So we've got to weigh up all those things, but we're certainly open-minded to it, said Miami GP's Tom Garfinkel. Sir Lewis Hamilton was the man in demand in Miami, with the 7-time F1 world champion heading pre-race to Jungle Plaza in the city's design district for a star-studded basketball event. Hamilton faced off with Hollywood actor Simu Liu, with each captaining a team of celebrities, featuring actor James Marsden, skateboarder Jagger Eaton, and former NFL player Antrell Roll. The squads were then put through their paces via a series of challenges, including layups, free throws, and some one-on-one games, with Team Liu claiming the overall win. Hamilton, who is a big basketball fan, was also able to spend quality time with children from the local community via the Dibia Dream charity that promotes the power of education.
I love basketball. I've always been a huge fan of basketball. It's probably my favorite sport to watch, that and NFL. So yeah, so to come out and have an event where that's incorporated in it is pretty cool, particularly as we got like the playoffs right now as well. So.
Miami International Autodrome wasn't the only place where Red Bull had its own race, with a track set up waterside for the brand's third driver Daniel Ricciardo and AlphaTauri's Yuki Tsunoda to battle it out in mini jet boats for top honors. Tsunoda got a strong start, but while he was overtaken by Ricciardo, the Japanese driver beat him on the line to take his second Miami win after last year's swamp buggy duel with Max Verstappen.
Swamp buggy was huge and V8 engine, and this one is more compact, but actually you feel more direct, so you can control more as you want. So it was really fun, and first thought was I think Danny will struggle to get into the boost. Yeah, it was faster than I expected. Yeah.
Red Bull took its 5th straight race win for 2023 in Miami, Max Verstappen his 3rd for the season, and it was also the Dutch gun's 24th consecutive points finish, dating back to Imola 2022. But while the RB19 continued to impress on track, it arrived in Miami style, with a new one-off livery featuring pink, teal and purple that was designed by Make Your Mark competition winner Martina Adriano from Argentina. The RB19 will also race in one-off fan-designed liveries in Austin and Las Vegas, completing the American Odyssey. Valtteri Bottas says that people shouldn't judge him for his calmer, quirkier exterior. Now he's at Alfa Romeo, with the Finn still pushing at Hinwil to be able to win races again in the future. Bottas left Mercedes for the midfield at the end of 2021. But while he's in far more relaxed surroundings, the 33-year-old told F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid the determination is still there.
People shouldn't think that I'm not serious about F1. If they think I'm just having fun, that's not the case. I'm still working hard with the team, and still my dream is to win races. But then when I have time off, then I can really enjoy it and embrace it.
Bottas, who is contracted with Sauber until the end of 2025, is excited to stay on the grid for a few more years, with the Finn buoyed by the sport's sweeping changes to bring more interest trackside.
I'm really enjoying it. I think the sport has improved in terms of safety, and racing and entertainment. I do like the direction it's been going, and another rule change in 2026. We'll see what that brings.
Andretti Autosport has strengthened its bid for a spot on the F1 grid, with the news that General Motors is considering becoming a power unit supplier to the All-American squad. Andretti has locked in GM brand Cadillac as its prospective partner for a spot on the F1 grid, but it was understood this would involve a rebadging of the Renault or even Honda power unit. But GM is now looking at designing and building its own power units for Andretti from the 2027, not 2026 campaign, with a 1 or 2 year stopgap supply then required from an existing manufacturer. GM is motivated to be involved in the car and design, the whole process. It's not white labeling an engine, said Eric Warren, GM Motorsport Executive Director. Andretti Autosport has fresh competition for a new F1 entry, with the addition of a new South Asia-based outfit, LKY SUNZ, which last week announced its intention to submit an application to the FIA. The prospective new F1 team is being led by CEO Benjamin Durand, who formerly headed up the Panthera project and other motorsport efforts like SMP Racing. The LKY SUNZ squad says it will build a state-of-the-art net-zero green energy-powered factory complex in Southeast Asia by 2025-2026. Initially, their race cars will be built and assembled at a European base. LKY SUNZ joins other hopefuls in bidding for one of 2 new F1 entries for 2026. Andretti Autosport leads a pack, including High-Tech Grand Prix and Craig Pollock's Formula Equal. America's understanding of F1 operation is set to deepen, with news that Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff has become an executive fellow and guest lecturer at the world-famous Harvard Business School. Wolff first collaborated with Harvard back in 2021, which led to a number of appearances in Boston, a case study, and an article in the prestigious Harvard Business Review magazine. But now Wolff will go one step further and teach a course at Harvard titled Mercedes F1, Leading a High-Performance Team. The course, planned for January 2024, will be taught in conjunction with Wolff's longtime Harvard collaborator, Professor Anita L. Burse. Nigel Mansell's 1992 F1 World Championship winning FW14B will return to Goodwood's Festival of Speed this year, but this time in the hands of its now owner, Sebastian Vettel. The 4-time world champion will make his long-awaited return to an F1 car at the July 13-16 event, with the German bringing his 1992 Williams and the 1993 McLaren MP48. Both 1990s F1 cars will run on sustainable fuels, which Vettel champions via his Race Without Trace initiative. Vettel's final race in F1 was at last year's Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, his 299th start. Mercedes has blamed its disappointing performance in Azerbaijan on a failed setup choice, baked in by a compacted sprint schedule. So Lewis Hamilton scored the squad's first podium for 2023 in Australia, but a technical issue with his W14 ahead of practice in Baku cut into the limited time for setup ahead of qualifying. In the Azerbaijan race, Hamilton unluckily pitted before the safety car on lap 10 and finished 6th, 2 spots ahead of teammate George Russell.
We had an issue with Lewis's car getting it out the garage on time because of a parameter in the car. And as a consequence of that, it made it very difficult to compare those 2 setups. And I think in hindsight, we're still not convinced of whether we made the right choice or didn't make the right choice.
The squad made no real progress in Miami, with Russell finishing in 4th and Hamilton 6th, with the W14 only F1's 3rd fastest car. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.